Welcome to the October 16th, 2024 RTM Public Health and Safety meeting. This is a Zoom meeting. It's a special meeting. And why don't we go ahead and get started? I'll call the meeting to order. First order of business to approve the minutes of the September 18th meeting. Any comments, whatnot? All in favor to approve?
Motion to approve. Yeah, go ahead.
Aye.
Okay, I'm going to assume it's unanimous. Thank you.
I abstained because I wasn't there.
Well, that's so you can still approve the minutes. You don't. That's the new thing. You don't have to be there.
Oh, is that the new thing?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
Hey, you can watch it on
Okay.
79 if you have any doubt. But I think the minutes are usually pretty accurate.
Okay, I'm going to
No,
go.
we learned about that when we had that gentleman from Hartford talk to us about.
Yeah.
I think Lois was what he talked about all different rules that we use.
Yeah.
FOI.
The FOI.
FOI. Right. Okay. All right. So the first piece of business here is discuss and vote on resolution for special appropriation of $89,115 for two facility positions. And that's the thing. There's two positions that are going to be overseen by the Public Works Department, but they're predominantly for the police department. One is a facilities manager that will actually oversee projects in the police department, and then the other position is actually someone who will be kind of doing things, and they'll be doing things for Public Works, but predominantly they'll be doing things for the police department. So I hope all of you were able to see the selectman explanation that Ed Gentile gave, because it was pretty comprehensive. But any comments on it?
I did watch it today. I can't remember whose budget will this go into?
That's a good question. I think the budget is ultimately going to be the police to police, but it's really going to be overseen by Ed. But I believe it's under the umbrella of the police. Yeah. Lois?
I have a question. I was under the assumption that one head count was going to the Public Works Department, the other head count was going to the police department. Do other people have other understandings?
That was my understanding as well, Lois.
That's probably right then. I was just making a guess. But I know at the selectmen meeting, Ed made it clear that the chief of police is going to be involved in this, but the chief then made it clear that he understood that Ed would be the one kind of doing the everyday quarterbacking. But it is interesting. I mean, that I've been on the RTM long enough that police department or police building was renovated, and to be flipped, maybe in hindsight it should have been just started over from scratch.
Yeah.
I mean, they basically took a building that was originally, I think it was a courthouse, and they've had one thing after the other with plumbing issues, air conditioning issues, heating issues, and so I think it's not it's a word I want to use. It's not really the right thing to have a policeman be as a general contractor overseeing things. That's not what they're hired to do. So this thing really makes sense, and I think Ed pretty much made that clear in his comments.
Yeah, I thought it was. I watched the video as well, and I thought they had a very compelling case to have the program manager and the maintenance person to do the work. It seems like they discussed about how complex things were, and I thought they did a really good job delineating the need for the funding and what it would be used for. And I thought it was something that was going to be very beneficial for the police department and for all of us in the community because of it.
Jim?
Hey, Mac.
Yep.
Mac?
Yep. Go ahead.
If you haven't seen it, watch the Board of Finance meeting from last night, where they voted on all this. I'm watching it now. I assume it all passed. Mr. Zagrodski, our first selectman, gave an impassioned speech and said it just makes sense. I don't think I've ever seen the budget add a full-time employee as fast,
Two.
but with good arguments, two, I'm sorry, two, twice, yeah. I haven't seen that done this fast, but it makes sense, and they didn't seem to have much opposition. So it'll be interesting to hear how F&B dices this in the creation of the next budget as well too.
But you know what?
Yeah,
You know
Lois?
what annoys me? What annoys me is they say $89,000 for 6 months. Why not just tell us it's going to be $180,000 for a year? And then what are all the benefits and the do? Like, what is the full number?
Right.
Instead of like a stripped down half-year number to make it more palatable.
Well, they said in the discussion, they said that enough people had left that they were not adding a cost of benefits.
Yeah, but that's just for this year. I mean,
Yeah,
the
right,
cost is
that's
going to
true.
be there
Yeah.
in the new
I
budget.
assume that that half a year that they're doing is going to just do till the next budget cycle. You know, that
But
starts
then
in
it's
June.
in place. You know what I mean? It's really the horse is out of the barn. And I just think that I wish that they had been a little bit more forthcoming with the true cost of it.
Well,
assuming
I
it-
think
it
that they just want to just make it so that at the end of our cycle, at the end of June or whenever it is, that they've covered, you know, the costs for that, and then everything would get renewed for the next fiscal year, from my understanding or reading into this.
Yeah, I object to, and I'm with you totally, Liz. It's the off cycle adding headcounts. They did that with security officers. They're doing it now. I had never seen that before until the latest thing. And, you know, I don't know how they're good things, but then they automatically get built into the budget
Right.
without looking at the overall cost impact on things. And that's how the budget creeps up. I know that the F&B, when they did the budget analysis last year for this budget, asked the Board of Ed to show those those headcounts as incremental as part of the growth part of their budget, and not just assume that it had been baked in. But it still is baked in. I mean, there were 9 people
Right.
there, and there's 2 people here that are getting added off cycle, and I think that's an issue. But as I know Mac's going to say, and I might as well say it for him because we've had this conversation, that budget issue, the issue of the timing of putting in the people, is not a public health and safety issue. That's more of an F&B issue. But I'm glad you brought it up because I wanted it stated. So thank you, Liz.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry, what position is it? I'm sorry, I was a little late to the meeting.
We're talking about the combined two positions that will be overseeing work at the police department. You know, one is a you know, like a general contractor type position.
Oh,
The other one is actually going to be doing work. Technically, they're under the umbrella of the police department, but they're going to be overseen by Ed Gentile. If that makes
this
sense.
is the kind of like the operations system person?
One is a coordinator and one's a mechanic.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, and really right now you've got sworn policemen that are hired to do police work, doing this stuff, and it just doesn't make sense.
It's dumb.
That's the crux of it. So, but yes, you know, Lois, I mean, we are you know, having conversations about the money end of it, but really we're here to talk about, you know, the public health and safety issue of it, and you know, we'll just kind of stay on point with that. Any other comments?
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Have a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
But I think these sort of discussions should come up at RTM. I think,
Well-
Lois, you should make that point exactly as Liz, and Liz, you as well too.
Right.
Well,
Right.
also, I think, Liz, during the budget process, we can certainly cut the budget. So I do think that the next budget round is going to be very interesting.
Well,
There's
I mean, we can footnote in our comments at the RTM meeting that there were concerns about that, but if you don't want to go there, Mac, I understand. We can do
What's
that
that?
individually.
Well, I could I could highlight it a little bit that, but also, I don't know in the order who's going to go first. I mean, Public Works is going to present this. We're secondary on this,
All
but
right.
if I go before Jack Davis, because he's going to comment, I'll just maybe say that we have some concerns, but I am confident that those will be
Yeah,
discussed also by Jack Davis.
I'm sure Jack
I'd
will
give it a
cover
line. I would definitely give it a line. I think there's been enough intelligent questions asked here that we should just put a small line in the sand and
Sure.
say, we're concerned about this,
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, cool.
All right. Well, good. We did approve it.
One down.
Let's go to the next one, which is discuss and vote on a resolution authorizing acceptance of a gift to the town of Darien valued at $65,000 from At Home Darien. And what we're talking about is a van, a van that with a driver and 12 passenger seats. So I did.
Can I say as
Go ahead.
as a client of At Home in Darien,
Oh.
I hope all of you are as well too. They do incredible service to this community, not only with moving people who don't have access to a car from point A to point B, getting them to doctor's appointments in that smaller vehicle, but apparently they've got ambitions and they got some money from the Darien Foundation to think bigger and think about doing small group trips. Which immediately elicited an invitation, I think, by the first selectman and Monica to take a tour of Great Island in your new little van.
Can you
Take
drive?
the seniors down, let them see it.
No, Jim, the other thing they mentioned was Monday night movies at the library. And I
Yeah.
think that's fabulous.
Yeah.
Any of that kind of stuff, I think it makes a lot of sense, and I think it would be a great service to seniors and people who are mobility impaired.
Yeah.
Well, I spoke today with Chris Jones. He heads up At Home, and he also spoke at the selectmen meeting, and it was really interesting. I mean, he said that they clearly see that there are issues of loneliness, isolation in the community, and what people don't they certainly need trips to the doctor. They need a shopping trip. But to be able to go out in the early evening and enjoy something with others, like you said, go to the library, go to go to other events. It just seemed to really make sense. I did ask him about the insurance on the vehicle. The insurance is covered by the town. They've actually explored insuring their own vehicles themselves, and it's crazy what quotes they receive. It's such a specialized thing. He said it'd be between $10,000 and $15,000 a year to have their 3 vehicles insured, but by lumping it in with the town, it's a whole different thing. That said, that he worked with Kate for a long time. They really couldn't break out what their little piece of that is, but the town insures tons of vehicles. When you think of all the town vehicles in place, so it's a big overall umbrella, comprehensive policy for the vehicles.
Is this van replacing a vehicle, or is it adding to the fleet?
It's adding to the fleet. They have two vehicles right now. One is basically a good sized passenger car, and the other one is a SUV. This is really almost like a minibus. If maybe that's the best way to describe it. It's a van, but I mean it'll hold 12 people. And they did have a van that was almost like a minibus, and the customers, the individuals that use it didn't like it because they felt they just didn't feel right using it. So they ended up swapping it somehow to Post 53. So they have it now. You sometimes may see it parked in the parking lot. They use it for various things, but a lot of what the expenditures are for At Home, like gasoline, they get it from the town, but then they reimburse the town for it. So the town gets reimbursed for that. Same thing with drivers. Drivers that take people to places using the At Home vehicles are paid by the town, but then At Home reimburses the town. And then on top of that, you have volunteers that drive their own vehicles. That's that, and I don't know how often that happens, but you could take someone offer to volunteer for a few hours a day, and you'd use your own vehicle. And they have that as well, and I think you get a receipt for that.
Yeah, they do,
maybe
Matt.
for the month.
Yeah, they do. They run
What's
some
that?
great program. They do some great programs. They'll go up for the elderly who has an internet problem or some connection problem. They'll run right up to their house and fix it. So the transportation really, oh yeah, it's
Now
great.
you told me.
Wait, wait,
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Now we have
Number.
Lewis's attention.
I'll be calling.
Really, they're so open-minded to help people in the community. It's just great to see.
That's
Yeah,
great.
can I ask you a
Christine,
question?
go ahead.
Yes, please. The van, Jim had mentioned mobility impaired people. Is this van, this new minibus or car, whatever we're getting, is that going to be handicapped accessible, or are they going to have to climb upstairs, or what will happen?
I believe it is. I think you can actually, there's types of wheelchairs that either attach on the outside. I could find out for sure, but they're clearly set up for that.
Yeah, I think people who become more and more isolated often is because of mobility. So if we want to take them out, or at home wants to take them out for some group activities, it would be really important that they have the means to get into the van.
Well, remember, this is they're offering it to the town, so it's
Right. Well, yeah, I know, but we do want to make sure that people,
Yeah. Well, I'm sure all that stuff has
the
been thought
target,
through.
the target group is able to use it.
One question that came up also was how the vehicle is maintained, and they're buying it brand new from a Ford dealership. So for the first few years, it's under warranty. What Chris told me was that a lot of the work that needs to be done, if it's an oil change, tire rotation, brakes, things like that, the town is capable of providing that because they provide it for other vehicles. But ultimately, when the warranty is out and things come up, they'll be taking it to the Ford dealer, and that's on their nickel.
well. Do I you want a motion to move it to
Sure.
approve it?
Motion.
I make a motion.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Any
it's a
second?
no-brainer.
Second.
Okay. All in favor to approve?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
All right.
Great. Well, thank you. Any announcements?
no, is this a special meeting? Can we say anything that's not related to this particular meeting?
Good catch.
We can now?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I did hear from someone in District 2 who was very concerned about the proposed apartments in Thorndale, that they want to have a cut through from Hecker Avenue.
Yeah.
And they're worried about the traffic on Hecker, and also that's where the police department is, where they need, to be able to have.
Yeah, well, that's
thoroughfare.
and that's been in the news, and there's going to be, I think, some more public meetings on that. But I think that was not on the agenda, so I think we should kind of not discuss it. But certainly,
that's
we
what
could
I
bring it
asked
up for the next one.
Yeah, that's what I asked about, because the person was concerned, and she thought that public health and safety needs to be involved in that too. So
Okay,
next time we can talk about that, maybe.
sure.
Okay, thank
Because
you.
we've got the election coming up, and then we'll be reforming in November, and then that could be a topic for discussion then.
Okay, great, thank you.
Mac, can I just do a quick
Yeah.
PSA?
Sure.
League of Women Voters Candidates Night, 7:00 tomorrow night, Thursday, in Town Hall Auditorium. Be there or be square. It'll also be on 79. But show up. I'm encouraging anybody that's interested to show up. They need a crowd.
Is it Board of Education?
No Board of Education debate because one of the parties decided it did not want to participate. So they could not do an empty chair debate. It's the league.
So who's going to be there?
It will be the two candidates, Bob Duff and his opponent. And it will be the two candidates, Tracy Mara and her opponent, and Tom O'Day and his opponent. They will be all four together in the second round. The first round will just be the two state Senate candidates.
What time?
And 7:00 town hall. Opening remarks by John Zagorowski.
And good seats are still available.
Oh, I think I can arrange whatever you would like.
And good microphones, Jim?
Yeah, that's
Excellent PA system. That's that's going to make a big difference.
Is the
I think
league
it'll
running
really
it?
help. The League of Women Voters of Darien is running it. Yes.
Good.
I mean,
Thank you
I
very
remember
much.
a time when they wanted candidates for the RTM to be there. You know, we wouldn't really speak, but we'd stand up and be acknowledged.
Yeah.
Oh, those days.
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay. Second.
I
Okay. All in
second.
favor?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you,
Thank you.
everybody.
Matt.
Jim.
Have a
Thanks,
good one.
everybody.
Thanks, Mac.